I'd like to call to order the meeting of the October 16th meeting of the City of Monona Finance and Personnel Committee. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Holmquist.
Here.
Alder Wood.
Here.
Mayor O'Connor.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our October 2nd meeting?
So moved. I'll second.
Any comments or questions, additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. First item under unfinished business, 5A, consideration of ordinance 10-17-691 concerning fire and EMS fees. Chief Sullivan.
This is the new ordinance for our ability to bill for standby at a lot of the events there within Monona. The runs, the other types of events that are around. Right now, we don't have the ability to bill them for it, so we don't currently do a lot of it. So this would give us the ability to charge them back if they do. We have had a few ask for us to provide EMS for it. So this would cover both EMS and fire if they requested an ambulance or an engine to stand by.
I guess I should have asked for a motion to approve this first.
Move to approve.
Second. Any questions, discussion?
Scott, how will this, is there a plan for the 4th of July festival?
No, that's to me is considered a city event. So we don't staff an ambulance there, and we don't staff an engine specifically for the park. We do at night staff our engines, but that's more because of the number of people that are in the community and the inability to get around. So we put the vehicles throughout the city. That one's not, that they haven't requested that we provide fire and EMS. From the time I've gotten here, it's just been it's a smart move for us to continue to provide the protection for the city. So
it's more around events that you guys normally are not staffing or wouldn't staff just from a city response standpoint, but they're wanting it specific for the event.
So similar to like the Lake Monona run. We just had the chocolate run. The chocolate run requested that we provide an ambulance, but we didn't have the means to bill them for it. So this would give us that means. And
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next, under new business, item A, consideration of resolution 17-10-2221, authorizing the issuance of $4,160,000 in general obligation promissory notes and the issuance and sale of $4,160,000 in taxable note anticipation notes in anticipation thereof. We're doing a lot of anticipating here, I guess. Is there a motion to approve this?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay.
This is for 4.1.6 is for related to borrowing we're going to plan on for the riverfront project. So this would be for the sewer pipe and the demo costs and some other costs associated for that's already been approved by the council. And also we've refinanced a prior taxable note when TIF 4 that had interest rates right around 5.5%. And that was now callable, so we combined into one note. And then they went out on the market and got the actual bids, and Kevin is here to explain what they received.
Sure. And thanks, Mark. Yes. I'm happy to report that today, when the note anticipation notes were received in the market, that they got a net interest rate of 3.24%. And two things I think that are important to note about that. First, as Mark alluded to, this is a taxable borrowing. The reason for that, I think you're aware of it better than I am, is that you've got strong development agreements in place, and the improvements are such that it's best to do this as taxable and then have the strong development agreements in place for that. So, even though it's got a private activity component to it, the taxable rate is a better way, it provides a stronger guarantee for or a stronger repayment possibility for those notes. And for a taxable rate to come in at 324 is still an indication that taxable rates are still very, very good. As Mark indicated, a portion of it, roughly $1.1 million, is to refinance some prior debt in TID number 4 that was issued at 5. I think the last coupon on that is 5.875%. So this certainly allows you to save some money there in terms of extending that. And then the balance is for those improvements in TID number 9. The reason that I believe that note was structured as a note anticipation note is to allow for a little bit longer amortization if needed in TID number 9. So that note anticipation note structure allows you to do that. We did go out to Standard & Poor's and get a rating. The rating was on your outstanding GOs was confirmed at a AA+, and then the ratings on note anticipation notes, because they're not technically general obligations of the city, are always one notch below that rating, and so the expected rating was a AA, and that's what you received, and so that interest rate reflects that rating as well.
The reason for the TID number 9 is there's no increment coming in. Yeah, so that's why we have the 5-year ban on that, because as you know, we're just starting the project, so there is no increment coming in. So we had to capitalize some of that interest.
Correct, right. In addition to the project costs, right?
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
This needs a roll call here.
Oh, sorry. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Wood.
Aye.
Alder Holquist.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, item B, consideration of Resolution 17-10-2222, amending the 2017 capital budget for Wildhaven Park Design and Engineering. Is there a motion to approve this?
I'll move approval. Second.
Is someone going to be talking about this, April?
Yep, I can start, sure.
Okay.
This is a request from our park director, Jake Anderson, who couldn't be here tonight. And what he's requesting is that we take $23,000 in unspent funds for the Ahuska Park Tennis Court project, which was not done this year, and transferring $9,960 to allow for Wildhaven Park Design. It's in the capital budget for 2018. This would allow us to get a jump start on that project so we could put the bids out earlier and probably get a better price on that project.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Doug?
So, remind me what the amount is in the 2018 budget?
From the tennis courts?
No.
Oh.
For
135.
For Wildhaven?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe you had $20,000 for design/engineering.
Yeah, it's for this. Basically, this was talked about when we met with him. Was the amount that's in the 2018 budget is the amount that was needed, and Jake thought he would, to get the thing going, he would need this additional $9,600 to start it. So it's not. So the number that's actually in the capital budget right now for 2018, there should be no change to it because that's just based on engineering and what he's thinking for the actual plan. So we wouldn't reduce the amount in that 2018, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Because we budgeted what we thought we would need with engineering, construction engineering, and all the other little engineering to go with it. So that was kind of the game plan for this, to get this started a little ahead of time, because we had that little bit of money in that fund from the tennis courts. The remaining portion of that tennis court will reduce the actual borrowing we have in the 2018. So the leftover amount, which is $13,000, will reduce the 2018 capital borrowing at the time.
Okay, thank you.
I have in my notes too from committee of the whole that I think we discussed that the project would likely need these funds to get it going. That
Right.
Yeah, he brought
this
that
is
up.
follow-up from
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
conversation.
not new news, so,
It's just kind of cleaning it up.
yeah.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, or Joan, is this a roll call, or?
I don't believe this will be a roll call.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
No.
Next up is the monthly financial report, item C.
You do that now first.
Should we do that, or should we go into closed session? April, were you going to do the update in closed session, or is Bill going to be doing that?
Bill will be here, so we could do that in closed session with the council if you'd rather. He could help with that.
I didn't know if we
That's
wanted to
fine.
do it here too, or if we want him to do it. What would you two like to do?
Well,
I mean, it would probably take really 5 minutes with
Yeah. Right.
discussion, to be honest, so.
Okay.
It's a personnel matter, so I think we probably should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Either
Should
way.
we do that first, or do the financial report first? We're supposed to do the financial report first, but,
It won't take long to do the financial report.
okay.
if you
Well,
want.
then, okay, why don't we just go ahead and, Mark, if you want to,
Yeah, if you got questions, just let me know. I'm just kind of hit on some of the areas that we, kind of talked about, and we've been talking about here in the committee of the whole, too. Just page 27. I just circle license permits. Actually, for building permits, as you can see, the period actual is what we had for September. So your building permits, almost $6,700. That was actually our largest one so far, month to date. So I don't know if it's starting to pick up a little bit. I think we're picking up a little bit here in October too for the building permits, revenue-wise. But I still think, just projecting when I know it's coming in so far in October, probably that whole license and permits are probably estimated to have approximately $35,000 under budget with that. So that's probably the biggest area. This, and we've mentioned before, the rec fund are two biggest areas of concerns for revenue-wise. But there is some things that are going to make up that. So fines and forfeitures, underneath court penalties and cost. So January through August, we're already at 77%, and I just received September's, and that's another like 14,000. It's going to be added in there. So we're going to be roughly about 15,000, 10 to 15,000 over budget there. I know this year Toya has been, she's taken over. She's been working with the state and just new program. And I think that's helped with the
I
collections.
think that's reflected in,
I think that's for the current year's collections, and I think also with these grants that we're doing, there is, we are getting the tickets and payments out of there. So those grants are, we do have the overtime, but there is revenue coming in the other side of that.
okay.
Page 28, interest income. We kind of talked about this, and we did really increase the budget in 2018. I think we increased it up to 95,000. That balance is going to be decreasing a little bit in 2018, so I didn't go much more than 95,000 for the budget for 2018. But as you can see already here for 2017, we're already at basically 91,000, basically 41,000 over. So that's been improved. Plus, I don't know if towards the end of last year, we met with Monroe State Bank and talked to them, and they did actually give us some higher rates for that. So part of it's that, and part of it's just the natural. I don't know if you know, interest income percentage has gone up just recently. At one time we were getting 0.10%. Now we're almost up to a whole percent. So a little over a whole percent now.
We're in
So
the big bucks.
so it's been increasing.
Mark, is that in a money market, or how is that structured?
There is some are in money markets, some are, most of them are in the money markets, but yeah, we have different ways we structure it.
Are there restrictions on when the money can be withdrawn?
Some that we do have, but that's not, we don't have a lot in those. But yeah, there is some restriction when, the 30-day or 30,
Right. Okay.
30 months type things. For expenditures, there's really not a lot that I really mention in here. There's a lot, we kind of touched on 35. We were down dispatch. The salaries are down. They should be right around 75%. They're at 66 because it was brought up there in the committee of the whole because staff was unfilled for a while. But as you can see, the wages part-time, the overtime, is making up for that difference. So that's where, the salaries were down, but those two are up. They should even each other out. Just on page 37, just a little thing happens, just health insurance, it's from single to married. There is a big difference from the single to married family insurance. So we always plan for what they have. If they change through the year, then that's basically comes out of fund balance. But we should make it up with other stuff this year. But so we budget what their current activity is, and then little things change. So page 43 again, franchise fees is another thing that's we adjust, as you're aware of, we adjusted in the budget already for 2018. We're at 47, almost 48%, halfway there. We don't have the third quarter in yet, so we are going to be a little under budget. We budgeted for revenues. Page 45, which is the rec department, or pool and rec and senior center and community center all in one. So basically the pool revenue, we had a very good year, $2,800 over budget in total. The biggest area of concern, it's more of a concern dollar-wise than the permits, is the rec fees. We are going to be under budget with that. And then once we get into the committee at whole, we have adjusted some. We did adjust these numbers, working with Jake to get a better handle on this. So we'll be talking about this at the committee at whole. And if you go to the capitals, which starts right around 53 through 56, I kind of put on there done, if the project's done or not done. You can see where we're at with a lot of these projects and what's open still. Just the water utilities, just want to hit on this one little thing. Just nothing. One of the things with the water utilities, water and sewer, the usage is down this year, so it's one of those. It's one of those things. Especially, we increased the rates, and we did put the new rates in for the multifamily and the commercial. I don't know if that's the reason for usage is down this year. It's good, it's a good thing, conserving water. But the other side, it does affect the revenue. It's one of those, one of those problems you have with the utilities and rates. But the usage has been down a little bit this year for 2017. That's kind of all I had. I don't know if any others have questions or concerns. I know we've been talking about a lot of this stuff lately too with the committee as a whole. So,
Doug?
Just one. So how do we net out on all this?
I know for the budget purposes, for the general fund, we budgeted basically $160,000 loss. But we're basically right on target for the expenditures. We are going to be over for those revenue things. So I think we budget $160,000 loss. I think we're only going to come up with $120,000 loss. So I think we're going to be a gain of 40, maybe a little bit higher, 40 to 50,000 from that. So instead of using the whole 160,000, we'll probably only use 110 or 120,000 of that fund balance that we planned on using.
So that's where when you say loss, the money was going to come out of the fund balance?
Yes, that's what I mean.
And those were for one-time things. I can't
Right.
remember now what they were. But
Yeah.
One was the fire.
One was the Part of it was for the mural, part of it was transfer some debt service stuff. And we had some stuff for the fire too, so.
Okay.
When I say loss, I guess I always think at the end
Yeah.
of your
It is.
balance or
Right.
income statement look like.
Okay.
Brian?
Mark, the item on maintenance of hydrants and the replacements.
Yep.
I see we're fairly significantly over, and I remember that being a discussion item of the number that we were going to be replacing and budgeting for that. Are we just being more aggressive with that than we anticipated, or?
Usually with hydrants, if it's a replacement, it ends up being capitalized. You won't see it. I think what's happening when they're doing these replacements, a lot of stuff, they're finding more repairs work than they would have, if they weren't doing these replacements. So I think this year and in the next couple of years, this number will probably be roughly right around here. Then it'll go back to what's normal, what is usually normal, less than right around 1,000. I think with the program, I think they're finding a little bit more stuff that needs small little repairs that are adding up and things like that.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Mark. Next, item 6D, convene in closed session under Wisconsin statute section 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. This is involved with an employee separation agreement. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So, second.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Wood,
Aye.
Alder Holmquist,
Aye.
Okay, we're in closed session. Is there a motion to approve the employee separation agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We move on to item 7, acceptance of general fund accounts payable checks dated September 29th to October 12th, 2017. Documentation of invoices paid is available in the city clerk's office. Is there a motion to accept?
I'll move to accept the accounts payable checks.
I'll second.
Okay, Mark?
And not a lot in here, a lot of everyday just services, but kind of hit some on page 72. I just want to hit like some of the capital stuff here. Baycom is part of the capital for the fire department, their radio equipment. To underneath that, under Kurt, the hay bales fall festival. Just wanted to mention that just because there's a Jake said it was very successful festival on Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. So I just want to hit on that. I think he said they sold like 6,000 tickets. I thought he mentioned. So here we go. Page 76, Lincoln Aquatics. Just again, the diving boards have been installed. And then kind of going in there, page 10, as Raymond can tell, very, very bottom. We have the library parking lot, and that's their partial payment, and then the city hall parking lot, which is completely done.
And is that retention pond where they had to dig up to move the cable, is that all done too?
Yes, that's all done. It's planted and everything.
I think there was one landscape tree they said this morning that was missed or
Yep.
something like that.
Oh,
and that
that's
was
right.
it.
Okay.
Yep.
But I missed that one tree, I don't know.
They got the lights installed.
Yep, lights were installed this
Installed,
week,
yeah, nice
That
and
looks
bright.
really nice.
or last week.
So pleasant to use.
Page 78, Stoughton, at the very bottom, I'm just going to mention one of them. Stoughton Police Department goes into 78, 79. So they got the speed grant, OWI traffic grant, and this we are getting the grant money and we pay them out to all the different districts that are involved. This again goes back to, we're talking about the court revenue coming in. I think a lot of it's related to these grants that we've been working on. So it has been a plus for the city, not only taking the people off the street with the OWIs, but also paying for some police overtime. Underneath that, Strand, some of the projects they're working on, Reach 64, the Winnequa Park Settlement, inland boats. Page 84, airs. They're doing a lot of engineering for the Parks Department. They're working on a 20-watt boat launch, Huska Park. Some part of when it says master plan, it's part of the tennis courts. Page 18, Copeland painting, the swimming pool painting, that's officially done. That was part of the capital budget. They'll be ready for next year's all swim.
I just have a general question, and you don't have to go back to the page. In one area, there is a charge for fax lines from AT&T, and another section is from TDS. Is there a reason we have more than one vendor?
I believe, I take a look, I think it's 2 different buildings, and that's,
That's
and
how it's,
so I'll take a look, I can look into it, see why the 2 different fax line, but I think it's 2 different, it's from 2 different buildings, so I don't know if one got a better price or not at the time. Yeah, I'll see. Shoot. That's kind of all I have. Oh, I guess, again, page 90, again, Strand, what they've been working, again, other projects they've been working on, and that's all I have. Any other questions?
Anyone? All in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn so Alder Wood can go home and get his budget book?
Oop, cat's out.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 We're adjourned.